They turned Spider-Man into a damn cop, and it sucks. So take two for... You guys won't see the first take because I've got to de-click the audio, and the whole video we couldn't actually hear. Satellite of Discontent. Sorry, man.
Yeah, I want to punch you so hard right now.
I'm sorry. But let's jump into this for the second time. But hey, at least we know what we're going to talk about now, right? So let's go through it. We'll read the whole article and then we'll double back. So the new Spider-Man video game came out on PlayStation 4 last week, and I was eager to spend a chunk of my time playing it. Some things I immensely enjoyed during the few hours of playing time: swinging webs, jumping off buildings, web swinging, whispering hula. It just looks like the real Empire State Building. And the web swinging. Okay, why does he keep going on about web swinging so much? But anyway, one thing
goes to show this person does not play games.
No. One thing I definitely did not enjoy is how the game turns Spider-Man into a friggin' cop killer. Granted, I'm only a few hours into the game, but so far the primary objective boils down to helping cops. Not just any cops either, but the NYPD. Specifically because the game takes place in a true-to-life rendering of New York City, it's dumb to expect video games to be responsibly reflective of the life, but it's also impossible for me at least not to feel some ickiness, and that was his word that he used, about the game forcing me into cahoots with even a fictionalized version of the NYPD, an organization that routinely oppresses some of the most vulnerable residents of the city I live in. I'm not grasping for many straws as it may appear. Spider-Man doesn't just help the cops by catching armed robbers and putting dangerous, deranged supervillains in jail. He helps them by maintaining a high-tech, city-wide surveillance network. One of the ongoing missions in the game is to have Spider-Man repair NYPD-operated and Ozco-constructed surveillance towers that stand atop of various buildings throughout the city. When these towers are repaired, they allow NYPD to monitor all civilians within a certain radius of the tower, and for Spider-Man to get real-time updates on happenings within the city via the uplink with the towers. This game mechanic will be familiar to anyone who has played an open-world RPG in the last decade. What the towers fictionally do is reveal areas of the game map to the players so they can find additional missions and collectibles. But it isn't just strictly a game mechanic, it's also a narrative choice, and one thing that comes up with some pretty obvious real-life parallels. The NYPD buying cutting-edge equipment and software from shady tech companies owned by billionaires within tyrannical tendencies so that it can monitor and collect data on citizens is dystopian yet sensibly video game plot point. It's also literally something that happened in the new real world of New York. Spider-Man deserves better to be allied with such forces. The big part of the character's appeal is that he's just much under the thumb of the city as the people he's trying to help. He's from a shattered family, he works multiple jobs, he can't pay his bills, he's stressed out all the time. He's not a hero who swoops down from on high in order to save commoners from themselves. He is a commoner. Therefore rests everything that is inspiring about the character. He's just a guy who wants to make life better for the people who are dealing with the same struggles he is. While this new game puts Spider-Man up on a perch where he doesn't belong, he's no longer performing heroic deeds out of just the goodness of his heart, but also for the purpose of solidifying the existing power structures crippling the city. Again, this is how the first few hours of the game works. There may be forthcoming plot twists in which Spider-Man realizes he no longer wants to be an agent of the state. All I know is it kind of sucks to players in a game where Spider-Man, in the process of beating up some drug dealers, taunts them by yelling, quote, "If you got a real job, you wouldn't have to work so hard being a criminal."
So true.
Right. Okay, so let's break this down. So first things first, Spider-Man going through and helping or aiding the NYPD. So
yes.
Spider-Man has always done this. Spider-Man has always gone through and locked criminals up in a web-like cocoon or detained people in a web of some sort of description so that the police can arrest them, right?
Correct. Yeah, he's there's depictions of this in the comics, and
Movies.
in the movies as
Yeah.
well. This is what
However
he does.
bad, or however bad the movies may have been towards the end, but yeah, they were still in the movies. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's not even the only superhero who has done these sort of things. I mean, Superman
Yeah. I was
does
gonna
this
say.
in Smallville, I think. You know.
Not just that, but even in the actual, even the movies, more in the like the full movies and stuff like that. So Superman's all grown up. He still
Yeah.
arrests
Oh,
people and puts them off in jail.
yeah. X-Men do this too with the criminal X-Men's the mutants who do bad things. They
Yeah,
get locked up by the state too.
yeah. Like this is a common theory that has gone throughout most of Spider-Man, Superman, X-Men. That this is something that has been in basically most games, most videos or movies or comics. Like this is not this is like you said. This is not just a Spider-Man thing. I get why this guy's obviously triggered like a snowflake in the sun. He's literally sitting there going, "I'm melting." Well, where he's obviously talking about the NYPD. I presume this guy has a very progressive point of view. He's probably very left when it comes to his political structure, and even just the fact that having a police department, even like he says, fictionally in a game, is enough to trigger this little snowflake so hard that he starts melting into a puddle.
Yeah, and it also shows that if this person actually knew anything about the material that he's supposed to be working with, if you're going to have someone review games or comics or anything of the sort, they should have a background knowledge of what they're working with. Clearly, this person has none of that.
Yeah, well,
Otherwise, they wouldn't be complaining about this.
I've actually gone through this guy's articles and some of these articles before I jumped into this video, and he writes about a lot of different things like sports and crime and stuff like that. This is the first time I've seen him write about video games. Now, I'm not saying he hasn't written about video games in the past, but I'm just saying the last video or the last articles that I've seen, like there's someone here on the side. I ate like a fashion editor for a day. John Gordo says he looks the reason why the Raiders have no pass rush. Lawsuit claims Larry Neris raped an impregnated field hockey player. Like there's a lot of real life stuff. It's not so much game journalism that's sort of yeah. But yeah, the more to be like obviously I don't have a problem with Spider-Man. That's sticking to law. I don't have a problem with that. The thing to me, the more important thing about this is the fact that Spider-Man is actually going through and helping the NYPD and the government with these towers. You have quite an interesting take on this. So
yes, the way I see it is that they're taking a game and inserting a game mechanic in which we're going to put into the hearts and minds of young people who will play this game, especially probably teenagers. We're going to have them actually helping to repair, maintain, and use these towers that are there to spy on people. And it's a little bit conspiratorial to think of it this way. But you also then go into the fact that why this called out to me so much is because I have seen other conspiracy theories about the 5G, spy network. And to me, this is like, well, let's put this into the games now, and let's get kids ready for this when they get older. And then when they go out into the world, when they're older, they won't think twice about spy towers, will they? Because they were playing games with this already in it.
Well, this is something
this is antithetical to Watch Dogs.
Yeah, well, this is okay. So there's a bit to touch on there. This is literally something that we touched on the news and political channel a couple of days ago, where Australia is actually bringing in new laws regarding encryption and handing over your encryption key. I'll put a link in that video, the end of this video, so obviously guys go and check that out. But yeah, at the end of the day, that we are heading towards a dystopian 1984 Llewellyn state in Australia, over in New York. Just quickly touching on this, they actually talked about how in 2006 the New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg issued an executive order establishing an Office of Special Enforcement, a citywide agency responsible for enforcing quality of life regulations.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even understand the statement correctly, which just makes me more scared.
So it's a dubious ideological charge concept that refers to anything from music venues to many noise complaints to nightclubs that facilitate prostitution and structures that pose a fire hazard. So basically, what it looks like here is it looks like it's some sort of new branch, a new government branch that would go through and basically make sure that everybody has a quality of life. So, for example, if you had like a fire hazard, they would then talk to you about removing it or fixing it. If you left your bins out, they would then complain about that. Oh, wait, that's in Australia. But I was going to say, it was like this seems to be that this big brother's always watching, everything you do is, sort of aspect. And that to me is more concerning. The fact that, look, at the end of the day, this mechanic is in every game that I've played. State of Decay 2, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs, and everything like that. There's always been parts where you go through and you unlock areas by climbing these towers or whatever it may be. Insert object here. And then you basically go through and you unlock that area. But why does it have to be these police state radio towers? Why does it have to be these spy networks that you actually unlock in the Spider-Man? Why can't it just be you climb these great big buildings like the Empire State Building and do something similar to Assassin's Creed where you do like a eagle vision and unlock the area and then jump off like a leap of faith sort of thing?
Yeah, the best way to contrast it is in Watch Dogs, you destroy the tower to remove the dystopian effect. Yeah. In this game, you're actually helping to get the dystopia going.
Yeah, which is probably why I spent more time playing Watch Dogs than I will probably ever spend playing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But as I say, look, at the end of the day, that to me is more concerning, the fact that they're putting that into games. And this seems to be a thing a lot of people are skimming over. Like you said, the quartering missed it. Phil DeFranco has talked about this Spider-Man thing earlier today. He didn't really talk about it either. At the end of the day, to me, this is bigger than some, left-wing or alt-left getting triggered over the fact that they have fictional NYPC, NY Police Department, based on a real-life police department. Like,
the thing is, Philip DeFranco might miss it because, well, he might not want to talk about it. I'm fully going to give a pass to quartering because I know in the past he has talked about this sort of thing. I think he missed it because he's on a particular thought train about the article and it just didn't click. I think that if it clicked, he would talk about it. So I'm willing to give him a pass on that one. But I do want to let quartering know, hey, you missed this. Like, I want him to know that he missed this and he should mention it, I think.
Yeah, and look, at the end of the day, obviously I'll Twitter tag quartering in this and say, hey, dude, you missed this point. But at the end of the day, and it's definitely this. Like I say, this to me is bigger than the NYPC, the New York Police Department. That having them in the game is law. Having them in the game is complete law. Having Spider-Man going around fixing spy towers, I don't remember any of that in the movies. Has that been in the comics or?
No, I don't think so. See, I'm not the biggest knowledge bin of Spider-Man comics or comics in general. I have been involved in it, and I've played a lot of such games when I was a kid. Like I played Spider-Man games on Game Boy and everything. I loved it. I don't remember any mechanic other than you help to arrest people to help the people. It's not about helping the cops per se. It's about helping people and getting criminals who are highly advanced at being able to evade the police because some of these criminals have powers. And because Spider-Man has powers, he can arrest them.
Yeah, and which is seemingly what you do in the game. So, like I say, I don't have a problem with the NYPC or NYPD being in this aspect of this game. It's to me, it's more the fact that this spy tower seems to be a very new thing that's creeped into the law, and yeah, to me, this is a bigger problem than the police department. But anyway, guys, I don't know. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Do you think that the NYPD aspect of this game is a bigger thing than the police department? Do you think that people miss this because they're too busy talking about the police? Do you think it's nothing, that we shouldn't really care about these spy towers and it's just part of them putting in a game mechanic? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great night and enjoy.